Doctor, if you are abroad and dreaming of practicing medicine in Canada, you've probably realized that the pathway may be confusing. But here's the good news. In 2025, there is a clear route, which is the practice ready assessment route, which we call the PRA. So you hear people say PRA, PRA, that's what we mean. And in this video, I'll show you how to prepare for PRA from outside Canada, the essential documents that you need, the provincial differences, and the big mistakes that get international doctors rejected for the PRA program. So PRA basically is a provincial program that allows internationally trained doctors to prove their skills through assessments and supervised practice. And the goal of PRA is to help to fill the gaps in underserved areas while we are still maintaining Canadian standards. So think of PRA as a bridge, okay? Your chance to transition from international practice to Canadian licensure. And that is what PRA is all about. So let's get practical here. Here's how you can prepare while you are still abroad. Number one, your documents need to be verified. Your documents need to be verified. So do this early through your physiciansapply.ca account and the Medical Council of Canada. This includes diplomas, your transcripts, your postgraduate certificates, your medical license, okay, and certified translations if not done in English or French. Because don't forget that Canada is a bilingual country, right? So if your license or the document you're trying to source verify was done in a different language, you need to make sure that you get certified translations for them. Number two, English proficiency. Provinces require proof of English or French fluency, and I've done countless videos on that, okay? So IELTS, academic, CELPIP are common English tests which are accepted by the various provinces. And even if you feel confident in your language skills, don't underestimate it, because I've seen people who can speak very good English, who can speak very good French, but when it comes to writing the IELTS, they are always fumbling. Number three, I need you to look at the provincial requirement. And here is the key. Each province runs its own practice-ready assessment program. So you realize that what Manitoba requires may be different from what British Columbia or Nova Scotia will need. So some provinces will require some exams, others don't. And some require some years of independent practice, others focus more on recency of practice. So for me, the rule of thumb is pick your target province early and study their exact checklist. And then ask yourself, do I qualify for this? Do I qualify for that? Do I qualify for this? If you qualify, check. Then you go like, okay, I want to go to this particular province, okay? And then the fourth point is reference letters. The reference letters must be recent and they must be within, 2 to 3 years. So they must be from direct supervisors or senior colleagues. And what I need you to do is to avoid personal references like from people who are your classmates and all that, okay? Strong letters describe your clinical judgment, the fact that you are a team player and your professionalism. And the fifth point is your clinical experience proof. You need to get, your employment contracts, your hospital appointment letters, your pay stubs, your logbooks. And many provinces will require at least 2 to 3 years of independent practice. So what I need you to do is make sure that your documentation is also consistent and well organized. And you also have to remember the timelines as well, because PRA applications open months in advance and they close very fast. For example, I remember the PACE program for Nova Scotia. When it opened, boom, so many people applied and they had to close it, right? So when you miss a window, it means you are waiting almost an entire year. So what I need you to do is to create a personal practice-ready assessment calendar and track when the various provinces will open and close. So you need to track when is Saskatchewan opening, when is Manitoba opening, when is Nova Scotia opening, when is New Brunswick opening, when is Quebec opening, when is even, Ontario opening. You need to do that. You need to really, really, really do that so that it can help you to really transition and it can help you so that you can meet the various deadlines. Now, what are the common mistakes that people do? Number one, a lot of candidates miss deadline, okay? Applications often close after just a few weeks. And so if you are late, there are no exceptions. You have to wait until next year. So for me, the solution is that you need to track the intake windows at least 6 months ahead so that you know that, boom, as soon as it opens, I'm doing it. The second mistake I see a lot of people make is incomplete credential verification. They may miss their transcripts on verified diplomas, and this can stall the entire file. And the Medical Council or the provincial program will not process your PRA without full documentation. And so what is the solution here? You've got to start your verification as soon as possible, even before the practice-ready assessment intake will open. You need to do that. And another mistake I see is when people get weak or outdated reference letters. What do I mean by this? Many candidates submit, a generic, vague reference letter from a colleague who has worked with them like 10 years ago. No. Canadian programs want recent, number one, 1 detailed letters which prove your competence. And so the solution is line up your supervisors who know your current skills and guide them on what Canadian programs are looking for. So you can even send them what actually the programs are looking for, so that when they are writing that reference, they know that this is what is expected. And another mistake I see a lot of candidates make is ignoring provincial return of service obligation. And this is very big. Almost all PRA pathways require you to serve in underserved or rural areas for some time. So for example, I served in Saskatchewan. When I was serving in Saskatchewan, I practiced for 7 years in Saskatchewan. But when I was serving in Saskatchewan, you were supposed to do 3 years return of service. Okay, 3 years return of service. And so some doctors accept offers and they don't realize that they must stay in the community for a particular period of time. And what I've seen is that when people break those return of service obligations, it comes as a hefty fine. And so if you don't plan on staying in that particular community, then why even go there in the first place? So what I need you to do is research the return of service terms upfront. Research it. How many years does Saskatchewan expect? How many years does British Columbia expect? How many years does Ontario expect? Because you may have a particular province, be it wherever, that you want to finally settle and practice, maybe for family reasons, right? So you need to research the initial province you are sent to, and you ask yourself, okay, they are requesting this number of years of return of service. Do I have the time on my hands to do that? Because you need to do this so that you don't get surprised later. And another mistake I've seen a lot of candidates make is they assume that all the provinces are the same. So one of the biggest mistakes is treating the PRA program as a single national program. But the truth is that no, each province is unique. And if you fail to tailor your application to that particular province, you will likely be rejected. Some provinces require QE1. Some provinces don't require QE1. Some provinces require both QE1 and NACOSKI. Some provinces accept only QE1. They don't bother about NACOSKI, right? Some provinces even don't require any exam. You go in for the interview and then they get you going. So these are the things you want to start thinking about. And so what is the solution for this? I need you to choose 1 or 2 provinces, master their rules, and then apply to them strategically. Okay? And then another mistake that candidates make is that they underestimate the competitiveness of the PRA program. Hundreds of applications are put through, and hundreds of applicants may compete for just a handful of PRA spots. And many strong candidates fail, not because they are unqualified, but because they didn't make the application airtight. Okay? So what's the solution? You need to polish every part of your file. Your references, your CV, your documentation, the timelines, all of them have to be flawless so that you can stand heads and shoulder above all the other applicants. So you realize that applying for the PRA from abroad, or even if you are in Canada in 2025 and beyond, is absolutely possible, but only if you plan carefully. What you need to do is get your credentials verified, understand provincial differences, secure strong references, and avoid common mistakes that cost candidates a year or more in waiting. So if this helped you, I need you to hit the like and the subscribe button, and in subsequent videos I'm going to explain what the specific provinces require, so you don't want to miss this. See you in the next video.